A few interesting details for Chaos Legionaries and bikes today. Their rebox datasheets have leaked. It looks like the Legionaries will be getting two different box sets, and the Chaos bikes sadly aren't getting their new models until a later date. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today we're talking a few interesting details from the Chaos release. As seems to be the normal procedure when Games Workshop releases a codex, we get quite a lot of datasheets visible in packaging prior to the actual announcements, and they can give us some very interesting clues as to what's going to be coming. A big thank you to Mr. Gene, who brought these to my attention over on the channel Discord server. Always good to get a glimpse of what's coming in the future. We've basically got leaked datasheets for these two units, and they both give hints as to which models are being released and which ones aren't. So first up we have the Chaos Marine Legionaries, and I must admit I was a little bit confused as to how Games Workshop were going to release these, and whether or not they'd just be including that extra Kill Team kit in the box for free, or whether or not the entire price of the box set would go up. I must admit I'd missed one of the Tower releases in the past, which kind of gave us a precedent for how this one was going to work, so I guess a lot of you will probably have worked this out already. Earlier on in the year, Tower Pathfinders basically got a Kill Team release, where it was basically the same kit as they had before, but with another sprue in the box for some upgrades and aesthetic changes. And without checking too carefully, I just assumed that they replaced the previous kit with the Kill Team box, but if you look on Games Workshop's web store, that actually isn't the case. They're actually selling the Pathfinder box set and the Kill Team box set side by side. Basically what comes in them is just about exactly the same. The Kill Team one just has an extra upgrade sprue in it, which has a few different poses for weapons and a few little bits of war gear. On sale at the moment, the standard Pathfinder box costs £26, $42 or €34, and the Kill Team one costs £32.50, $55 or €42.50. It means that you're paying an extra £6.50 or $13 if you want to have the fancier kit. That's basically the exact same thing as happened with the Chaos Space Marine box to convert them to Chaos Legionaries. It would appear that we'll get a very similar deal with the Chaos Marine box and the Legionaries box, and I think that's kind of helpful for players. You don't just have to pay a higher price regardless. You can basically choose and decide whether or not the extra bits in the kit are worth it, things like that heavy chain axe, sergeant weapon options, the Psyker Acolyte, and the chain cannon. Currently the kit is £37.50, $60 or €50 for the Chaos Space Marines at the moment. I'd imagine that it's going to increase something in line with what we've seen for the Tau if you want the Kill Team set. I guess the bad news is no extra fun bits for free, but the good news is that the price of the entire box set isn't going up. If you just want some more standard guys, it can be at least a little bit cheaper. I'd say this is basically confirmed to be the case at the moment. The Combat Patrol box that they showed off didn't have any of the Kill Team options on display there, so it's very likely that we won't get those included in that. As the lead datasheet, which we'll get onto in a second, that also only shows the options from the standard kit, so it appears that the Kill Team extras aren't going to be in the normal box. Before we take a look at the datasheet, these are the extra bits in the Kill Team box. For the Legionaries, you just get this one extra sprue. I think it is a bit more exciting than the Pathfinders, to be honest, which are more aesthetic upgrades in my opinion. These ones actually do give you some fun extra bits of war gear, the chain cannon, heavy chain axe, the Psyker guy, a champion demon weapon, and a chap with some demon mutated hands. I think for some people it could be worth the extra around £6 or $10 to $13, though I don't think it'll be worth it for everyone. At least some people could probably convert some of these bits if they've got extensive bits from collecting chaos already. I guess maybe the single most valuable thing in the box feels like the Psyker to me. He could have some genuinely interesting in-game effects, and maybe even proxy him for a sorcerer if you wanted to play a little bit of a cheap chaos army. Usually Games Workshop sells character models for much more. As for the lead datasheet, there isn't a whole load new stuff here in terms of war gear. We do have the fairly exciting new legionary profile with 2 wounds, an extra pip of leadership, and most interestingly the 3 attacks at base. Quite nice to have more attacks than a Primaris Marine. You'd get the same attacks on the charge because they have shock assault, but after that you'd be hitting them harder. Otherwise, the standard bits of kit and all their weapons do appear to remain unchanged. It doesn't look like the new Chaos Codex will be getting any big buffs for standard weapons like heavy bolters, missile launchers or plasma guns or the like. And as I mentioned kind of tellingly, it doesn't list the new stuff like the heavy chain axe or the champion's demon blade, making me think that this is almost certainly not going to be included in the standard Legionaries box. In any case, I'll be interested to hear your opinions. Do you think it's useful to have 2 different box sets with more or less bits depending on what you want to pay? And if the price does wind up being a similar increase to the Pathfinder kit, do you think it will be worth it or not? Finally, besides Legionaries, we've also got a little excerpt from the Chaos Bikers as well. with another leaked datasheet from them. Again, another case of the current kits being repackaged. I'd say the single most disappointing thing is that it does appear that the models are staying exactly the same as the current ones that you can see pictured here. It seems very unlikely that we'd be getting new Chaos Bikers in this release if they are reboxing these guys and putting them in with a fancy new datasheet, as you can see here. I think Chaos Bikers are hot on the agenda to be redone. Most of the other core choices have been reimagined now, and while not being terrible models are just a little bit static looking, I think they could look really nice if they did something similar to the Space Marine Outriders perhaps. The reason that bikers were kind of predicted, as they were mentioned as part of that really big model leak that we got the best part of a year ago now. This leak so far has been almost unerringly accurate. It predicted just about every single Chaos Space Marine release that we've had, from those new accursed cultists to the command squad that they got, and the new possessed, Warpsmith, and Chosen. With how reliable it's been so far, I have a hard time believing that it's going to be inaccurate as to their models being in production. They are a really good logical choice to be worked on next as well. I honestly think that this is more likely to be a case of Games Workshop already having finished the models, but choosing to hold them back to release at a later date, probably sometime in 10th edition. They have been known to do this in the past, basically have a whole load of models produced all at once, have them ready to go into production, but only actually do so at the next release of the faction, perhaps just to keep on giving armies new content, as opposed to just overload them with a complete glut of new miniatures and then nothing else for a really long time. Still though, kind of sad that we're not seeing them at this point. My guess would be that they'll be released whenever there's a new Chaos update, and admittedly that might well not be till 10th edition, seeing as we're only just getting the codex for 9th now. In any case, from the datasheet, it's fairly standard stuff. Basically copy-paste the legionary upgrades here. They get +1 wound to their 3 wounds, +2 attack space to 3 at the cost of Hateful Assault, and +1 leadership to 9 on the Sergeant. The twin bolt gun profile for the bikes is unchanged, and there isn't any chainsaw profile listed here, but hopefully they will still get their free chainswords. If we look at the Chaos Rules leak, then there's a few more details available for them. Again, this rules leak has basically been correct on everything, and it does fit in exactly with the profile that we're seeing here as well. Apparently the Chaos Bikers will be available in squads of 3 to 9. They can opt to swap out their bolt pistols for chainswords still, and in terms of specials and combi weapons, you can have up to 2 specials and combi weapons in the squad. It sounds like that's regardless of size. The champion can opt to take a plasma pistol or melee weapons, and the unit can take an icon, and there's a stratagem for -1 to hit. Definitely a bit early to be saying whether or not Chaos Bikers are going to be the new hotness in the codex. My guess is that they're probably not going to be rocking the boat too hard if the marine ones are anything to go by. They're quite anti-infantry tailored, and for fast-moving, hard-hitting squads you probably want something more vicious. I feel units like Warp Talons and Terminators are some of the most interesting units to watch right now. Obviously though, it depends on their points. If they're super cheap for some reason, then they could be very nice indeed. So anyway, let me know what you think of the leaks and the model news. What do you make of the Legionary dual kits? And I'm interested to hear your guys' takes on the Chaos Biker models. Was the leak just incorrect about that single 1 unit entry, or are we going to see them in the future? If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics. I'll certainly be keeping up with any other Chaos news and rumours that come out, and I'll certainly look forward to reviewing the new codex in full once we get it. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page, and you can find that down in the video description below. Channel patrons get a few advantages, including seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with the chance to win some really big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description below. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.